All right, so when we're exercising, we're going to get more brain cells. And you can see that here we're getting this nice threefold increase in neurons in the old, and this almost 40% increase in brain cells in the young. And it's an increase in the number of cells you're making new neurons. And so the question has to be, does it matter? Is it functional? Well, here's what happens to learning and memory. When we go back to that memory test where the mice swim around and did they learn where the target was in the water, young who run, we get this nice increase, about a 60% increase in their ability to learn and remember. In the old, you see this functional loss. We're losing brain cells. We lose the ability to learn and remember as we get older. But as we run, if we're able to do endurance exercise, we're actually able to maintain brain function. And so that's really super cool, because that means that exercising is going to increase your ability to learn and remember. And so endurance exercise, we've talked about it as being really good for your heart. We've talked about it being really good for your skeletal muscles by changing metabolism within those tissues. The other tissue that it massively improves is your brain. It massively improves your liver function as well, all of these tissues within your body. But really, it's this idea of being able to learn and remember better that really should be the focus of what you're looking at. You guys are paying an exorbitant amount of money to go to university to learn things, to learn and remember stuff. And most of you, even if you're first or second year, can't remember 80% of the stuff that you took in class last quarter. That's bad, because you've spent a lot of time, you spend a lot of money, you're not learning and remembering these things. If you increase your aerobic capacity, your ability to learn and remember is going to go up as well. So you're paying for all of this education. You might want to just, even without paying very much, you can get out, exercise, and get more bang for your buck. You get more from that money that you're putting into this university. That's why I tell you that this course, if you implement the things that we talk about in this course, you're not only going to improve the quality of your life, which is what all the courses at UC Davis do. This is the one that's going to actually improve the length, and it's going to make you smarter. The other ones, just they increase the things that you know. Chances are you're going to forget a lot of them. The real key is going to be able to increase your capacity to learn. And that's what exercise does. It increases your capacity to learn and remember. When does this start? Well, if you were in Scotland back in 2007 and you were in this little town called Dundee, where my wife and I were living, you would have found yourself at the gym at some point. It would have been dark out, because it always gets dark. There's very short days in the wintertime. And as it gets into the summertime, it started getting longer and longer days. And around August, late August, if you had been in that gym, you would have found yourself getting on elliptical training, and you would have looked beside you, and there would have been this lady who's wearing a boot on her leg because her tibia broke, because she was so deep into pregnancy that in the third trimester of pregnancy, your child starts to take all these nutrients from you. And one of the nutrients it takes from you is calcium and mineral from your bones so that it can build its own skeletal system. Well, when it was doing that, it broke down my wife's skeletal system enough so that she actually broke her tibia. And so there she would be. She would have been, you're at the gym, you look over, there's a woman who's 9 months and 8 days pregnant. She's wearing a boot because she broke her leg, and she's getting on the elliptical trainer and she's training. And she's going at a really bloody high intensity. I can tell you that more men jumped off trainers and got away from her than you would ever see in your life. But the reason she was doing that, one, it made her feel better and she could actually control something. The second thing is that if you take an individual and you have the mother run while the mother is pregnant, and then you take the offspring out and you put them into two different groups, one that had a mother who ran and the other that had a mother that didn't run. If we then let them grow up and then we test their ability to learn and remember, look what happens. Learning and memory is improved 25%. Even if the animals never ran a day in their life, if the mother ran, they already saw an improvement in learning and memory and in hippocampal volume and brain function. So all of these things we talked about as far as exercises that you could do, where I could go out and I could run and that's going to improve my brain function. If you've got somebody who is actually pregnant, they can improve their baby's brain function by their exercise. And it's not just an improvement that's going to last during the pregnancy. It's actually going to last after the pregnancy. When that child is young, in school, up to, in this point, is getting close to midlife within these animals' lives. Even if they don't ever exercise themselves, they would already have a head start. They would be 25% better able to learn and remember than their classmates whose pregnant mother didn't run. All right? So exercise actually has this thing we call an epigenetic change that changes your ability to make the things that are going to allow you to improve your learning and memory. And you don't even have to have done it. If your mom did it, you're in a better position. You got the greatest gift you could have, which is a head start on learning and memory. All right, so when we look at exercise in the brain, we say that endurance exercise increases the volume of regions of the brain that are involved in learning and memory. That's your hippocampus. It makes it bigger. We know that in people. We know that in mice. The increase in volume is due to an increase in neurons. And you can start increasing the number of neurons within the hippocampus even in utero. That means when you're in your mom's belly. If your mom was exercising, you have more neurons than the person sitting beside you if their mom didn't exercise. The result of the increase in the neurons in the hippocampus because of aerobic fitness can overcome genetic factors to increase learning, memory, and intelligence. Even if you're old, even if you have other issues, all of these things can be overcome by this exercise capacity. And we're going to talk about exactly why and how that exercise improves performance, and that's what the next videos are going to be.